So the question is, once I have images in my clippings, how do I actually manipulate them and use them inside of my Glossi? So in order to illustrate this, I'm actually going to create a new Glossi, which I can do by clicking on Create Your Own Glossi here, or Create a Glossi up here. I'm going to select this one. This will bring up the Glossi editor, which has been shown in other videos. I'm not going to cover anything related to text right now, but there are other videos online on our channel which talk all about text and the things you can and can't do with our text editor. Okay, so now I've opened up the Glossi editor. I'm actually going to select this template because, as you can see, there are a number of image blocks here. And actually, if you didn't know that, on the left-hand side here are the actual pages. I can click on any one of them, and some of these have there are various templates that we've provided. If you see one with an X through it like this, that means it's meant for images. Basically what happens is you go to your clippings and you can take any image and drag it onto any image section and the image will appear. I can just keep doing this all day. So if I have a lot of images already queued up and ready to go, I just keep dragging and dropping them and they just slide right into place. Now, so for example, if I have a situation like what I have here where this individual's head is cut off, I can actually drag the image just by clicking on it and dragging it with my mouse. Let's say I want to enlarge it. Let's say maybe it's like that, and I want to get rid of this little white space here. I can basically increase the size, drag it back over, or I can decrease the size if I want it to be smaller. But that's probably a little bit too small, so I'm going to blow it up to about right there. Now I'm going to fill up the rest of these here, and just bear with me for a second here as I'm going to be a little bit repetitive and use some of the same images for the sake of demoing this here. So as we fill them up, boom, 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 and one more. Okay, so now I've got a page filled with images. So what can I do now? Well, this is kind of exciting. If you notice when I mouse over any image, this little cross arrow thing appears. If I grab that, that means I can drag the image around on the page. And the image, unfortunately, at the moment, the image layer characteristic, so what image is actually on top of the other ones, is fixed in the template, so that cannot be adjusted at this time. So you'll just have to sort of figure out which images are able to lay on top of or will slide underneath the other ones. But you can move them around, so you can create something that's sort of a little bit more collagey, a little bit more organic than the grid we provide by default. And if you don't like an image, if you're like, you know what, that's just too many images, I actually don't even want this here, click X and the image goes away. Of course the space still remains. It's transparent. Oh, actually it's not transparent because it's on top of these other images, so I actually misspoke there. So you have to just be careful with that a little bit. But you can see there are really a lot of things you can do here. Now the other thing you can do is apply a filter. Right now we only have two. We're of course working on more. I'm going to make this black and white, so if I want to make this one picture of this gentleman here black and white, boom, now he's black and white. If I want the image just to fill the space, I don't want to deal with sort of stretching it around. I just click here, and the system will actually, I think it was already filled the space, but the system will figure out how to actually fill up the entire image area. So I'm going to try that one more time. Fill the space. There we go. Just pulled it over, and it found the dimension that matched the side the best. Or I can just set it back to its original size, which was right there. But I don't really like that, so I'm going to make it a little bit like that. And that's it. You pretty much have everything you need to know. If you want to see the picture or the collage that you've created, the page actually, without the little dotted lines that are around the text area, you can click on the eye here and that will get rid of it. So you can actually see what it's going to look like, except for well, actually it was highlighted. And so you can actually see what it'll look like on the finished product. Or I can restart my template layout without losing my content. So if I've sort of made a mess here and I decide, you know what, I want to go back to that grid, I click this and it asks me if I'm sure, and boom, there we go. So it's now back to being just the square of grids that it was before. Now you know pretty much everything you need to know in order to manipulate and use images.